Let me provide a quick introduction to this project. I got an Android phone about a week and a half ago and was looking for our first project. I thought, what more interesting than to try to integrate with MiX widgets and see if I can get them to show on an Android phone. So what you see here is kind of the results of one day of programming on Android. So I'm going to get started here with the Widget Explorer. And you can see I'm going to just go ahead and pick Login widget. Now you can see the Login widget displays has got a drop-down, an email entry field, a password. I'm going to go ahead and submit it here, and you can see I get an error back. So the widgets provide all these UI components which I want to leverage in the Android application. My goal is to make this as code-free as possible. So what I start off with is the GUI builder, and you can see I've just put all of the different components of the widget on the screen using the standard Eclipse GUI builder. So all the different possible error messages, the various components, the spinner, the password field, and so on. Those are just standard stock components dropped on with no customization whatsoever. Now what I've done here is I've written a library that lets me integrate the MiX widgets in with those standard components. The first thing though is I need some sort of equivalent of configurables. You can see here's a JSON file where I provide the widget server URL and then a list of widget mappings. I've only mapped the login widget at the moment. But this is very much like configurables on the website. This just drops into the library. Now if we go back to the application, you can see here's the source. The whole application fits on one screen. This top little bit right here, this is just the standard opening for any Android activity, which is the first screen. The next little bit of code here, this is just a list of mappings. This maps IDs of components in the Android app to fields within the widget. The next block of code, this creates a widget from my widget library. I give it a name, which pulls it in from the mapping file. I give it a start view, and then I load the widget. And then this last little bit here, I just create an on-click handler. So when you click the button, I can call widget.submit, which posts the widget back. Now you can see here the entire application is only about 45 lines of code or so. The library actually takes care of everything else. It does all the JSON calls, it does all the mappings, stuffing of data in and pulling the data back out for the post back to the widget. So everything at this point is completely transparent. Let's go ahead and jump into a demo. This is the application loaded up on my phone. You can see that when I click the combo box, that the options are the same as it is in the website. Let me go ahead and put an email address in here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and log in without filling in a password just to see what happens. Okay, now you can see, well, it's a little bit hard to see on the screen because the text is in red, but there's an error message saying that the password is required. And it's exactly the same text as you get in the widget, because all of the contents you see on the screen here just comes from the widget server. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the password in, submit again, and now you can see there's a widget error saying that my account is not eligible to log into this site because it's associated with the wrong country. Now when I turn the screen, it reruns the application, so that reloads the form at the moment, and it's reloaded here. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you how this is linked back live to the widget server. So I'm going to go in the MiX Manager, click on the Login widget, and then I'm going to bring up the Login view. And then I'm going to pick the user ID field. And then you can see the translation here. In the tooltip, it says email. I'm going to go ahead and change that to email test. And it was email on the phone, you can see there. So I'm going to go ahead and reload the widget on my phone, and we'll see if it See if it comes up. Now I have to load it twice because the widget server always caches the first call. So let me spin it to reload it. And here you can see that it says email test. The text has been updated live relative to what I put into MiX Manager. So I'm going to just go ahead and change it back to the way it was. And then I'll reload the widget. Again, I have to load it twice. And you can see it's right back to where it was. So this is a great example of how, with no code changes whatsoever, and actually about 45 lines of code, I've done a full widget integration. And this has been done literally, I wrote the entire library in one day, and this is the first Android application I've ever written. The really neat part about this is the integration is effectively code-free. So aside from having to define the mapping table between the fields in the widget and the fields in your screen, the library itself actually takes care of all interactions and session management and posting and so on and so forth. So this has really turned out to be kind of a fun project, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks.